Witness the fury of nature's wrath with Best Five's countdown of the top 5 most devastating wildfires. Number 5. California and Los Angeles Wildfires. A crisis ignored? The wildfires of California in 2025 reached a horrifying peak, with Los Angeles at its center. Over 2.5 million acres were engulfed in flames, displacing thousands and turning the city of dreams into a smoldering nightmare. Entire neighborhoods vanished, their ashes swept away by hot winds, leaving residents devastated and homeless. This wasn't just nature's wrath, it was a crisis born from negligence. Years of drought, unchecked urban expansion into fire-prone areas, and insufficient funding for wildfire prevention combined into the perfect storm. But the real spark? A government seemingly preoccupied with international aid to Ukraine and Israel, while its own people watched their homes burn. Despite scientists and environmentalists urging proactive measures like controlled burns and fire breaks, these warnings fell on deaf ears. The firefighting teams on the ground fought valiantly, but were hopelessly outmatched by the scale of destruction. The cost of rebuilding Los Angeles is estimated to surpass $80 billion, but some scars can never heal. Iconic landmarks like parts of the Hollywood Hills went up in flames, a searing symbol of a paradise lost. In the end, 2025 wasn't just the year California burned. It was the year Hollywood, the beacon of dreams, melted away into a bitter reality. Number 4. The Canadian Wildfire Crisis, a nation choked by smoke. In 2023, Canada faced one of the most devastating wildfire seasons in its history. By year's end, over 18 million hectares of forest had burned, an area larger than Portugal. While wildfires are no stranger to Canada, the intensity and scale of these blazes were unprecedented. Entire towns in Alberta and British Columbia were evacuated, with residents fleeing through walls of flames. Meanwhile, the smoke didn't just blanket Canadian cities, it smothered much of North America. Major U.S. cities like New York recorded some of the worst air quality levels in history, with skies turning an eerie orange. The root cause? Decades of climate change and human intervention. Rising global temperatures had dried Canada's boreal forests, turning them into a tinderbox. But the government's slow response didn't help. Calls for increased funding for firefighting resources were overshadowed by debates over energy policies and fossil fuel exports. The toll was staggering. Thousands of families lost homes, and smoke caused a surge in respiratory issues. As Canadians struggled to breathe, their leaders hesitated to declare a national emergency, prioritizing optics over action. The Canadian wildfires weren't just a natural disaster, they were a fiery testament to the cost of inaction. No border can contain the consequences of a burning planet. Number 3. Australia's Black Summer, a continent ablaze. In late 2019 and early 2020, Australia experienced its Black Summer, a catastrophic wildfire season scorching over 18 million hectares, larger than England and Scotland combined. Thousands of homes were destroyed, entire towns evacuated, and nearly 3 billion animals perished in what experts called an ecological apocalypse. The fires, fueled by extreme drought and record-breaking heat, raged across multiple states. Images of blood-red skies, flames towering over highways, and fleeing wildlife captured global attention. Even cities far from the fires, like Sydney and Canberra, were shrouded in smoke, with air quality plummeting to hazardous levels. The human toll was devastating. At least 33 people lost their lives, including heroic firefighters. The emotional and mental health impacts on survivors were immeasurable as communities grappled with grief and loss. Adding to the crisis, the government faced heavy criticism for its slow response. Critics accused Australian leaders of prioritizing economic interests over environmental action. Prime Minister Scott Morrison faced backlash for vacationing in Hawaii during the fires. Meanwhile, Australia, a major coal exporter, was criticized for downplaying climate change's role in such disasters. Australia's Black Summer revealed the consequences of ignoring environmental science and the urgent need for global action. The scars left behind, on both the land and its people, remain a haunting reminder of nature's fury. Number 2. The Greek wildfires of 2023, a nation in flames. In the scorching summer of 2023, Greece faced its worst wildfire season in modern history. Heat waves pushed temperatures to a blistering 45 °C, 113 degrees, turning the Mediterranean paradise into an uncontrollable inferno. Over 1.5 million acres of pristine forests and villages were reduced to ash, with tens of thousands forced to flee their homes and hotels in sheer terror. The flames ravaged popular tourist islands like Rhodes and Corfu, transforming bustling beaches into desperate evacuation hubs. Families abandoned everything as smoke blanketed the skies and fire devoured everything in its path. Once thriving towns were left in ruins, their charred remnants standing as grim testaments to the disaster. While firefighters and volunteers fought valiantly, Greece's resources were woefully underprepared. Years of underfunding left the nation vulnerable, and critics called out the government's lack of preventive measures. The fires revealed a harsh truth. Climate change and mismanagement had combined to create an unstoppable force. Experts warned that these wildfires were a grim preview of what's to come if immediate action isn't taken. The destruction wasn't just environmental, it shattered communities, destroyed livelihoods, and left scars on the land and its people. As the smoke cleared, the world saw ancient ruins and olive groves consumed by flames, a haunting reminder of a paradise lost. Number 1. Amazon rainforest fires, the lungs of the earth in peril. The Amazon rainforest, often referred to as the lungs of the earth, has been ravaged by fires at an unprecedented scale. In 2023, deforestation and illegal land clearing reached alarming levels, igniting a firestorm that destroyed millions of acres of vital forest land. The fires weren't just a local issue. They sent shockwaves across the globe, threatening biodiversity, accelerating climate change, and endangering indigenous communities who rely on the forest for survival. The scale of the destruction was almost unimaginable. Vast swathes of forest, home to some of the most diverse ecosystems on the planet, turned to ash. Smoke plumes from the fires darkened skies thousands of miles away, impacting air quality as far as neighboring continents. Perhaps the most heart-wrenching aspect of this crisis was its preventability. Critics blamed lax environmental regulations, political indifference, and corporate greed for fueling the disaster. Despite international pledges to protect the rainforest, meaningful action remained elusive, with governments prioritizing short-term profits over long-term sustainability. The Amazon fires stand as a dire warning. When humanity fails to protect nature, the consequences are devastating for everyone. Will the world act before it's too late? Or will we continue to witness the destruction of our planet's most precious resources?